Good morning, dear children. I hope you all are fine and you are safe at your home. In my previous class, I have taught you about elements, about atoms, molecules, about compounds. I have even given you the examples of compound, water, carbon dioxide, and I have shown you in the form of diagram also. Then I have said you about the properties of compound. Then the three states of matter. What were the three states of matter? Solid, liquid and gas. And at last what we have discussed was the activity. And what was the aim of the activity? To show that air occupies space. So now let's start our today's class, and we will start our class with the activity. Okay. Now what is the aim of this activity? See here. Aim to show that air has mass. Before activity we have seen what is the aim? To show that air occupies space. Here we will see that air has mass. Now let's start our activity. What you will do? You will take two balloons, okay, and you will blow the air in both the balloons. And what you will do? Your balloon size should be of equal. Okay. You have to blow the air in both the balloons, and you have to keep in your mind that both the balloons should be of equal size. And what you will do, you will tie both the balloon at the end of one stick. You will take one stick and you will tie it. And you will also tie one thread in the middle of the stick to balance it horizontally. Okay, you will balance it. Now after this, what you will do, you will take a pin. You will take a pin and you will bring near one of the balloon. Okay, and you will gently touch the pin on the balloon. And what you will see, and you will touch and what you will see that the air of this balloon will come out and it will get deflated. What it will happen? It will get deflated. Why? Because all the air inside the balloon has come out. Okay, so it will get deflated. As soon as it will get deflated, the stick will tilt downwards. The stick will tilt downwards. Okay, now why the stick has tilted downwards? Why not this side where the balloon is deflated and in which the air is not there? Why not this side? Why only this side? Because inside this balloon, what is there? What is present? Air is present. So the balloon with air weighs more than the balloon without air. That is why it is tilted downwards. So this shows that air has mass. Air has mass, that is why it has tilted downwards, not this side. And this deflated balloon has no air inside it. So this shows that air has mass, that is why it has tilted downwards. So by this activity we can say that air has mass. Okay, it has mass, that is why it has tilted downwards. If it do not have mass, if air has no mass, then it would have tilted downwards. No, it have not tilted. But air has mass, that is why it has tilted downwards. Okay, so this was the activity to show that air has mass. Now let's see our next topic, that is interconversion of matter. Now our next topic is interconversion of matter. Interconversion of matter. Now what does this interconversion of matter means? Interconversion of matter means that matter can change from one state to another. Like if it is in solid state, it can change to liquid state. If it is in liquid state, it can change to gaseous state. Okay, so matter can change from one state to another. And how it will change? If there will be a heat supply, or by cooling, or by change in temperature, or by change in pressure, the matter will change from one state to another. Okay, now let's see the definition of interconversion of matter. The change of matter from one state to another due to change in temperature or pressure is called interconversion of matter. Now see here, I will show you in the form of diagram. I have drawn here three states: solid, liquid and gas. Okay. Now what you will do? You will take ice. Okay. Ice is what? It is in solid form of water. Okay, so you will take this ice out of the fridge, and what you will see that ice will start melting. Ice will start melting, and what you will get? You will get liquid, that is water. Now why this is here when you take the ice out of the fridge, it was in solid form. So when you take it out, it start melting. It was in solid form. It has changed its state to liquid state. That is water. Okay. Now, why it has changed to liquid state? Because it has absorbed the heat from the surrounding and it starts melting. Start melting to liquid state. So the solid has changed. So the solid changes to liquid. Okay. The process of changing of matter from solid state to liquid state by heating is called melting. Okay. Understood? Now what you will do? What you got at last liquid as water you got. So if this water, again if you will cool down, or if you will freeze it in your fridge, what you will get? Again you will get solid, that is ice. Water in the form of solid, that is ice, you will get. So if I will freeze this water again in my freezer, if I keep this water again in my freezer, I will cool it, what I will get? Again I will get the solid state of ice, that is water. Water, first it was in liquid, then I got again after freezing, I got again, what I got? I got the ice, that is the solid form of water. So on freezing, so the process of changing of matter from liquid state to solid state by cooling is called freezing. The process of changing of matter from liquid state to solid state by cooling is called freezing. Okay, so you have understood the interconversion. Solid to liquid, again liquid to solid. Now let's see here. So what is evaporation? Okay, now we will see the interconversion of state of matter from liquid to gas and gas to liquid. Now here what you will do, you will heat the water. Okay, when you will heat the water, you will see that water is in a liquid state. So you will see that the liquid state has changed into gaseous state. What it has changed? It has changed to gaseous state, or you can say vapor state. So the process of changing of matter, that is liquid state to gaseous state by heating is called evaporation. Once again, the process of changing of matter, okay, from liquid state to gaseous state or vapor state on heating, okay, is called evaporation. This process is called evaporation. Now let's see from gas to liquid. Okay, now gaseous state to liquid state. Now the process of changing of matter from its gaseous state to liquid state on cooling is called condensation. You have seen when your mother cooks rice or other dishes, she close it with the lid. Okay, after some time when you will go and you will see that on lid small water droplets are there. Why? Because this gas, whatever the vapor was produced, it has cooled down. It has cooled down and it has changed from the gaseous state to liquid state, and that process is called the condensation. So the process of changing of matter from its gaseous state to liquid state on cooling is called condensation. Now let's see in case of solid state to gaseous state and gaseous state to solid state. Now when the solid will change to gaseous state, that process is called the sublimation. Now for example, if you take a naphthalene ball as an example in the solid state, you will see that naphthalene ball directly changes to gaseous state without going any liquid phase. So the process of changing of matter from its solid state to its gaseous state directly is called sublimation. So once again, the process of changing of matter from its solid state to gaseous state directly is called sublimation. Now from gaseous state to solid state, that is the process of changing of matter from gaseous state to solid state is called deposition. It will also change directly without going any liquid phase. Of changing of matter from gaseous state to solid state directly, it will not go any liquid phase. That process is called the deposition. So this was the interconversion of matter. Okay, this was the interconversion of matter. I have shown you how the matter changed from one state to another. You have seen, no? Melting, freezing, evaporation, condensation, sublimation, deposition. These all were the process, and here the matter has changed from one state to another. Now, one more example is that carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is gas. Okay, carbon dioxide is gas. But under high pressure, it changes into solid, that is dry ice. And dry ice is solid. Okay, here what you have seen, that carbon dioxide was gas. Under high pressure, it has changed to dry ice, that is solid. So it has changed its state from gaseous state to solid state. Okay, so this was the interconversion of matter. Now let's go for our next. Now, according to the theory of particulate nature of matter, we know that matter is made up of tiny particles, that is atoms or molecules. Okay, now there are three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. And all these three states of matter, the arrangement of particles are different. In solid, it is tightly packed. In liquid, it is little bit loosely packed and the particles can move freely. And in gas, it is very loosely packed and it can move here and there, random motion in any other direction. Okay. Now, what I said, that in these three states of matter, the arrangement of particles are different. Now, let's first learn about these terms, what these terms means. Then I will say you about the arrangement of particle in solid, liquid and gaseous state. Now, number one is the interparticle force. Now, what is this interparticle force? Interparticle force is the force of attraction between the particle. Interparticle force is the force of attraction between the particles. Okay, that is called the interparticle force. There will be attraction between the two particles. There will be attraction between the two particles. Okay, now if there is the attraction between the same type of particles, they are called cohesive force. What are they called? They are called cohesive force. If there is attraction between the same type of particle, that is called the cohesive force. Now understood what is interparticle force? The force of attraction between the particles is called the interparticle force. Now what is interparticle space? Interparticle space means the space which is between the two particles is called the interparticle space. There will be a space between the two particles. Two particles will be there and the space will be there, that is called the interparticle space. Okay, now let's see what is this Brownian motion. This Brownian motion is named after a botanist, okay, that was Robert Brown. Okay, this Brownian motion is named after a botanist named Robert Brown. Okay, in 1827, what he did, he have placed the pollen grain, the flower contained pollen grain, no, he placed it in the beaker containing water, and what he have seen with the microscope, that pollen grain was moving here and there, randomly, haphazard motion was there, the pollen grain was moving here and there. Okay, now he thought why it was moving here and there. Okay, why these pollen grains are moving here and there. So he found that it was moving here and there because in liquid particles are there. So these particles were continuously colliding with this pollen grain, they were hitting it. That is why this pollen grain were moving here and there. Haphazardly, randomly it was moving in the water. Why it was moving? Because the particles that were present in the liquid is made up of particles now. So the particles in the liquid were colliding with this pollen grain and it was heating the pollen grains. That is why the pollen grains were moving here and there. And the particles in the liquid are loosely packed. They can move here and there. So the particles in the liquid were continuously colliding with this pollen grain and hitting this pollen grain. That is why the pollen grain were moving here and there in the liquid. It was having a haphazard motion or random motion in the liquid. Okay, so now let's see the definition of Brownian motion. The erratic random movement of particles in the matter, especially fluids, as a result of continuous bombardment from the particles of that matter and the particles of the surrounding matter is called the Brownian motion. So I said already, it is the random movement of whatever the particles is placed in the liquid, or you can say gas also, okay. And the Brownian motion will take place in what is a liquid, that is fluid, that is liquid or gas. Now sometime we have also seen that the sunlight enters in your room. The sunlight enters in your room through windows or ventilation and all. Then what you see, this when these rays enter in your room, you see a dust particle, it contains dust particle. So you will see that the dust particles are moving here and there. It will have a random motion, okay, it will move here and there. Now why it is moving here and there? Because air is present everywhere, you are surrounded with air. You cannot see air, and air is a mixture of gases. Air is a mixture of gases, and in gas, what is present? Gas is made up of particles. Gas is also made up of particles. So in gas, particles are present, and in particles in gas are very loosely packed. They move here and there. So these dust particles which are present in the air, and air is a mixture of gas and it also has particles. The particles of this air is continuously colliding with this dust particle present in the air, so that particles of the gases are heating this particle present in the air. That is why that dust particles are moving here and there, haphazard motion, random motion, is moving here and there. So this motion is called the Brownian motion, okay. So now let's see our last one, that is diffusion. Now let's see first the definition of diffusion. The intermixing of substances by the natural movement of their particles is called diffusion. Now diffusion will occur when one substance will get mixed with the other substance. And when they will get mixed? When they are kept in contact with one another. The particle of one substance will move and take the interparticle space of the other substance. Okay, for example, if you will take water and milk, both are in liquid state. Now I will mix both of them. Okay, I will mix both of them. So I will put water in the milk, and what will happen? The particles of water will take the space which is present inside the milk. Milk is a liquid, and in liquid the particles are loosely packed and there are more interparticle space. So the particles of water will take the space in the milk. Okay, the particle will move and will take the interparticle space in that other substance, that is milk. So this is called the diffusion. Now Brownian motion and diffusion will be more in case of gas. In case of gas, Brownian motion and diffusion will be more, because in gas the particles are very loosely packed and it can move here and there in any direction. Okay, so it will keep on decreasing. What I said, in gas Brownian motion and diffusion will be more. In liquid it will be little bit less. And now we will see the arrangement of particles in the three states, that is solid, liquid and gas. Okay, now let's see the arrangement of particles in the three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Now first we'll start with solid state. In solid state, the particles are very closely packed, tightly packed. Okay, they are tightly packed. There is very little space between the particle, very little space, because they are closely packed and the particles cannot move here and there. The particles cannot move. Can you see? It is closely packed now, and the particles cannot move here and there. So the particles cannot move and it is closely packed because of the strong force of attraction, that is interparticle force. I have already explained you the term, that is interparticle force. What is interparticle force? The force of attraction between the particles of a matter. Okay, so because there is a strong force of attraction, there is an interparticle force of attraction is very strong. That is why the particles in solid are closely packed and they cannot move, because space is not there to move. Very little space is there. Space is not there to move. Okay, but if they cannot move here and there, but they are in continuous motion in their own place, these particles in solid, they cannot move here and there, but they are in continuous motion. Okay, and why they are closely packed? Because the interparticle force of attraction is very strong and they cannot move here and there, but they are in continuous motion. Okay, they are in motion. Now, this solid we cannot compress. We cannot compress the solid. Okay, but if it is soft solid, in case of soft solid and all, we can compress little bit. But in case of sponge balls and all other soft solids and all, we can compress. But solid cannot become, because in solid the particles are very closely packed. Okay, because the interparticles force of attraction is very strong. Now let's move to our next state of matter, that is liquid. Now let's see the arrangement of particles in liquid state. In liquid, you can see the particles are arranged, they are packed loosely. You can see now why they are packed loosely. You can see the interparticle space is also more between the particles. Now they are packed loosely because the interparticle force of attraction is less than solid. Less than solid. In case of solid, interparticle force of attraction was strong. But in case of liquid, it is weak than solid. It is weaker than solid. In liquid, the particles are loosely packed. Okay, and the particles can move here and there. Okay, they can move and they have enough interparticle space. Also, the space between the particle, can you see? It is more than solid. It is more than solid. And in case of liquid, it is little bit compressible. It is said that little bit it is compressible. Now let's move to our next stage, that is gaseous state. In gaseous state, you can see that particles are free to move in any direction. Particles are free to move in any direction. Particle force is very weak, very weak. So there is the particles are not held, because the force of attraction, that is the interparticle force, is very weak. So it cannot hold the particles. That is why the particles are moving here and there in any direction. Okay, and there is enough interparticle space. So you can see it is more than solid liquid. Okay, in gas the interparticle space is enough, and gas is compressible. You can compress the gas. Now let's see one more time. In solid, the solid has fixed shape, fixed volume, because the particles in solid are closely packed, because the interparticle force is very strong here. That is why they have fixed shape, fixed volume, and the particles cannot move here and there, but they are in continuous motion. In case of liquid, they do not have fixed shape, but they have fixed volume. They take the shape of any container in which it is poured. Okay, so why they do not have fixed shape? Because the particles in liquid are loosely packed, because the interparticle force of attraction is weak. Okay, weaker than solid. That is why the particles are free to move here and there. Okay, and it can take the shape of the container, but it has fixed volume but no fixed shape. And in case of gas, what we have seen, that it do not have fixed volume, it do not have fixed shape. Now why? Because the particles in gas are free to move here and there, because the force of attraction, that is the interparticle force of attraction, is very weak than liquid and gas, and there is enough interparticle space. Okay, it is loosely packed. Gas is very loosely packed. Okay, so these were the three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Now I will explain you in terms of the arrangement of particles in these three states. Okay, now let's see. Now we are end of this chapter, and at the end there is differentiate between the three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas, on the basis of some property. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now number one property is shape. Solid has fixed shape, liquid do not have fixed shape, it takes the shape of any container in which it is poured, and gas, it do not have any shape, fixed shape is not there, and it occupies this available space. Okay, now our next property is the volume. In solid, it has fixed volume, in liquid it has fixed volume, but in gas it do not have fixed volume. Interparticle force of attraction, in case of solid it is strongest. Okay, interparticle force of attraction is strongest. In case of liquid, it is less than solid but more than gas. And in case of gas, the interparticle force of attraction is very weak. Then interparticle space in solid, there is very little interparticle space is there. You have seen why? Because it is closely packed. It is closely packed. Now in case of liquid, the interparticle space is more than solid but less than gas. And in gas, there is more space than solid liquid. Okay. In case of gas, there is more interparticle space. Now we have the Brownian motion. In case of Brownian motion, in solid it is negligible. I have said that Brownian motion and diffusion is more in case of gas than liquid, and is negligible in solid. Okay, is negligible in solid. And in case of liquid, Brownian motion is considerable, and Brownian motion is more in case of gas. In case of gas, Brownian motion is very high. Then compressibility. The solid cannot be compressed. Liquid, little bit it can be compressed. Okay, and in case of gas, it is highly compressible. Now flow, solid cannot flow. Liquid can flow from higher level to lower level, and gas, it can flow here and there. It is free to flow in every direction. Now free surface, solid has more than one free surface. Liquid has only one free surface, and gas, they do not have any free surface. So this was the last of this chapter, that was a differentiate between the three states of matter. So with this we have completed our first chapter, that was matter and its composition. Okay, so we have completed our chapter. I will give you the exercise, and I will provide you with the answers. Okay, so do in your copy neatly, okay, and learn it by your heart. Okay, thank you.